Howdy, folks. It's your good friend Hillbilly Scribbs here with you for another episode of The Truly Bizarre World, right here on the Feeding the Monster podcast feed's YouTube's channel. And I gotta tell you, folks, I think y'all have been along for the ride long enough that you know what this show is all about. Now, we're gonna do the same thing that we do every week. We're gonna take a look into the mysteries and the unexplainable things out there in our world, in our truly bizarre world. So, we've looked into cryptids. We've done some looking into the paranormal. We've done some looking into things that go bump in the night. And, for today's show, we're going to look into something a little bit different. We're going to look into something that has stumped thinkers and scientists since the very beginning of recorded history. We're going to look into the mysteries surrounding the brown note. Episode 8, The Brown Note. Now, ever since the earliest days of recorded human history, music and sound have always intrigued mankind. Now, certain aspects of sound have remained mysterious and elusive throughout the ages. Many of the greatest scientists and thinkers of the modern age have tried their darndest to figure out and discover all of the powers of sound. Now, I probably should have put a disclaimer at the beginning of this here episode. Moms and dads, if you're watching, you might want to put the little ones to bed. There might be some content in this video that ain't appropriate for all audiences. All right, I feel better getting that out of the way. Now, getting back to sound. As I was mentioning earlier, there are a lot of sounds that have remained just right outside of our reach. And it's been postulated and theorized that a lot of these sounds might have special powers. And the sound that we're going to be talking about today is just that. It's a sound that has a theorized, and I think a realized, special power. Now, the sound that we're going to be discussing has been dubbed the brown note by scholars and scientists and alchemists throughout the ages. And the reason it's been given that moniker, that's better. The reason it's been given that moniker is that it does something to you. Now, if you're hit with the brown note, what it does is it affects the muscles in your body, especially in your lower body, and causes them to go relaxed and completely slack, and flaccid. And a lot of times this isn't a problem, but the specific muscles that this note interacts with are the muscles that control our plumbing, specifically our lower bowels. So this note, if it hits you, it causes you to evacuate. It makes you poop. And that's why they call it the brown note. Now, as I mentioned earlier, scientists have been trying to crack this thing for some time, and it's just remained quite right out of our reach. The human voice, and I ain't got like the numbers to give to you on this. You're just gonna have to take my word for this. This is all based on my investigated research, and the human voice has a certain range, right? Some of the vocalizations that we can do are mighty powerful. I mean, we've all seen the videos on the YouTubes of the opera singers hitting that high note that makes glass shatter. So the brown note's kind of like that, but it's just outside of our vocal range. Humans cannot produce it. And as of this time, we have not created any machinery to produce it either. Now, we have tried. We have definitely tried. I've got a little bit of a video to show you guys. This is it's historical footage, and this is why, you know, I wanted y'all to put the kiddies to bed, because this footage I'm about to share with you is a little bit disturbing. You know, and I don't want to scare the kiddos. So, but this is actual footage from back during World War II. The Nazis tried to make a machine to induce the brown note. One of Hitler's grand plans was to create this machine so that he could just make everyone all over Europe that he was fighting against have like explosive diarrhea and give up on the fight. And you know, if he had been able to unleash this dysentery onto the Allied forces, you know, human history would be quite different today, I'm sure. Now, the Third Reich did not create crap. Sorry about that, folks. You know, sometimes when the hillbilly starts talking about poop, I tend to lose my composure. So, yeah, sorry about that. But anyway, and that's exactly, you know, what Hitler was hoping to accomplish in World War II. Now, as I mentioned, I'm gonna show you some recovered footage of some Nazi scientists doing some experiments with this, and unfortunately, they did not hit the brown note, and this did not work out too well for them. I'm really sorry, guys. I apologize for the graphic nature of that there video. You know, those poor fellers, I'm sure they all had families, but they were Nazis, so I guess it ain't too bad. But anyway, to switch gears a bit, we've established that the brightest and smartest minds have not been able to create the brown note, right? And, you know, I don't know if man ever will, but you know what they say about nature? Nature finds a way, and nature has found a way. And this is going to surprise y'all a little bit because I don't normally talk about this kind of stuff, but we're going to talk about woolly boogers. One thing that has come up time and time again when I have interviewed folks that have been in the presence of woolly boogers is that they often describe feeling very uncomfortable. Sometimes they'll get this before they even see the woolly boogers. They'll feel like something is watching them, and something is making them feel real nervous and just not right. And some folks have revealed to me that when they've been in the presence of woolly boogers, they've pooped themselves. That's right. And not always, you know, when they've seen the woolly boogers. Sometimes they will soil themselves before they see the woolly boogers, just because there's something there that just, you know, makes their bowels go all lucid. And, you know, I want to say that it's because the woolly booger is making the sound. The woolly boogers are creating the brown note. Now, there have been some audio recordings made by this feller named Ron Moorhead, and he's part of the he's part of this camping group that camps in the Sahara Nevada mountains, and he created these recordings that he has named the Sahara Sounds, and these are things that they're actually, he took like high-tech audio recording equipment out in the woods up in those mountains, and he recorded what those of us here in the woolly booger community truly believe are actually woolly boogers talking to each other. Now, I wasn't able to get any of his recordings because you kind of have to pay top dollar for it. He's pretty proud of them, and you know, I come pretty close to having copyright issues with some of the videos and podcasts I do. So I wanted to make sure that we stay safe on this one. So I actually got a recording machine and went out in the woods here in Central Texas, out in the hills, and I recorded what I believe to be a woolly booger. That's right. And y'all want to give it a listen? Let's listen to it right now. Now, before we listen, you might want to put some towels underneath you, just in case we hear the brown note. All right, let's give this thing a listen. Woo. Woo. Oh. I think that's going to be it for today, guys. I need to go change my britches. Now, if you've got a story or a topic idea for the truly bizarre world, the best thing to do is to download the Anchor app onto your mobile device. And you can go on there and look up the Feeding the Monster podcast feed and leave us a voice message. And, you know, it's just like making a phone call and leaving a message, except for you only got a minute to do it. And you know what? That's actually a good thing because it keeps the super secret government agencies from tracking your calls. Whew. Yep, that's the show for today, folks. You know, you can also leave topics for future shows and questions for me down in the comments section here on the YouTubes as well. And, you know, who knows? You might be part of a future show. But in the meantime, make sure you check out all of the content on the Feeding the Monster podcast feed. Yep. On Mondays, you know, I do the Hoot and Hollar every week, and then on Tuesdays every week we have our main show. That's right, new day, same show. And that's the show where, you know, Thomas and John and Mark and Corey and Jeff, my roommate, get together and, well, they just get into a mess of it. But it's a lot of fun. And you can also check out every other Wednesday. Mark Kammeyer has his show, The Rantings of a Maniac, and that is some good stuff. You get kind of a peek into his mind, and there's good stuff in there. And on Thursdays, we have The Power of Positive Geeking with Corey Morissette, where, you know, he picks movies that, you know, they ain't always everybody's favorite movies when they come out, but he does a review of them and puts a very positive spin on them. You know, everything has something good about it, right? You can there's always something good you can say about everything. That's what I was trying to say. And then on Fridays, the Pants Panel are now doing movie commentaries and show commentaries. So make sure you check that out. They've done a lot of fun stuff so far, and more stuff on the way. And on the weekends, you can catch my Truly Bizarre World here on the YouTubes, on the Feeding the Monster podcast feeds YouTube channel. So I think that's about it. I think I covered everything. There's also a lot of links right down there in the description of the video. So check those out too. And until next time, you know, you folks keep it real, keep it weird, and keep it glorious.